I want to tell you all about an experience I had earlier this year. It was a cold Saturday morning, probably a little bit too early. I'm sure I would have rather slept in, but who doesn't? I walked into our town's local bowling alley, and right as I did, I was greeted by Katie, one of the members there. She yelled my name, Kyle, Kyle, and she came over to me and wrapped her arms around me in an amazingly warm and comforting hug. I could tell just how much she had missed me. I had missed the previous week's event due to SAT testing, and I was so glad to be back. But what were we doing there in the first place? I wasn't there to bowl. I was there to volunteer. Every week, a group of us volunteers, we meet there every Saturday morning, and we help adults with disabilities to socialize and to bowl, of course. Now, Katie herself has overcome struggles with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she suffers from oral and facial digital syndrome. But she doesn't let those things define her, right? She's able to overcome them and instead makes the best of every situation. And I think that's part of the reason I love volunteering so much. It's the people that I meet and the struggles that they have experienced that I'm able to realize and know that, those don't define them, right? Instead, they overcome them and make the best of every situation like Katie does. And since that, experience volunteering, it's really become a part of my weekly schedule, whether it's every Saturday morning or if it's a Tuesday night in the basement of a church, helping underprivileged kids to, run activities, or a Sunday morning, once a month, helping set up a service project and seeing the results. I love it. And so many people volunteer, but why do they and why do I, right? You don't get paid, and who doesn't love to get paid for work? Well, the truth is that anytime someone volunteers, they are compensated. Now, what do I mean by that? That might be confusing, I'm sure. What I mean is that anytime someone volunteers, they're compensated. It could be, free food or a keychain, or it could be a lanyard, but there is always some kind of compensation. And even if it's not that physical thing, it's always that feeling you get when you volunteer. Now, I'm sure a couple of you who have volunteered here before know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. It's that feel-good feeling, knowing that you went above and beyond what you had to do. You could have slept in, like I said, or you could have, gone to work, or you could have done something else, but instead you chose to be selfless and to help other people and to help your community when you didn't have to. And the truth is that volunteering is incredibly valuable, right? The national average rate that volunteers are valued at is $24.14 per hour. That's an incredible amount of power that you can have on your community as a volunteer. And according to Ghent University, older volunteers, they're as healthy as a 5-year younger non-volunteer. That's because, volunteers, they have less mental health problems and they have less physical health problems with less stress, according to the Mayo Health Clinic. And this inward impact on volunteers from volunteering is not as easy to see, right? The outward impact of volunteering, it's clear. If you, donate to a GoFundMe online, right, you can see the amount of money raised and where it's going. Or if you sign a petition, right, you can see the amount of signatures and see what that's going to. Or even if you set up an event, right, you can see the finished product. But the inward impact, you can't really see that. Instead, you feel it, right? And that's such an important moment. And I never really realized that until that incident with Katie, when I realized how much I meant to her, but also how much she meant to me, and how much of an impact people like her have had on me in my volunteering experiences over the past 2 or 3 years in high school, right? Just because that inward impact isn't as measurable as an outward impact doesn't mean it's not as important. If anything, it's almost more important. And it doesn't matter why you volunteer. I'm sure you've been told to volunteer to help your community or to help people in it, but that doesn't have to be the only reason, right? It's okay to be selfish in your selflessness. What do I mean, right? It's okay to volunteer for yourself. It's okay to volunteer to make yourself feel better. It's okay to volunteer to meet new people. It's okay to volunteer for whatever reason, right? Just get out and volunteer. It doesn't matter why you volunteer, right? Do it for yourself. That's okay. You don't need to feel ashamed about that, because you might just be surprised when you volunteer. It's not just the impact you have on people. It's also the impact those people can have on you in your life. Thank you.